Arik Thorn awoke to the soft hum of the Zephyrian healing chamber. The glow from the bioluminescent panels bathed the room in gentle light, reflecting in the polished surfaces of strange alien instruments. The stab wound along his side throbbed faintly, a reminder that even in a foreign world, humans were not invincible. He sat up slowly, feeling the stiffness in his muscles. Mara was beside him, holding a small tray with water and nutrient gels. "You slept longer than expected," she said. Her voice carried concern but also respect. "The medic said your vitals are stable, but you need to remain careful." Arik gave her a faint smile. "I've faced worse, Mara. Humans survive. I've got no intention of lying in bed while this planet burns." She shook her head. "You're always so stubborn, but I suppose that's what makes you, you." Outside the window, the Zephyrian capital sparkled in the evening. The city was alive even after the recent attack. Flying vehicles traced luminous trails across the sky, and tall towers pulsed with energy. From above, it seemed peaceful, yet Arik knew that beneath the beauty, danger lurked everywhere. A soft chime sounded and the chamber door slid open. A Zephyrian attendant entered, bowing low. "Captain Thorn," she said, her voice musical. "Her Majesty requests your presence. There are matters of grave importance to discuss." Arik's brow furrowed. "After what happened today?" The attendant's silver eyes did not waver. "The Queen trusts your judgment. It is not only necessary, it is urgent." Arik exchanged a glance with Mara, who shrugged. With effort, he swung his legs over the edge of the bed and followed the attendant. Every step reminded him of the stabbing pain along his side, but he ignored it. He had survived worse than a single wound, and if the Zephyrians needed him, he would answer. The path to the throne room was quieter than he had expected. Guards patrolled silently and servants moved with measured precision. The walls were adorned with shifting murals, scenes of Zephyrian history and myth. As he walked, he noticed subtle details he had not seen before. Battle formations, ships traveling through stars, and strange symbols that seemed to glow as he passed. Finally, he entered the throne room. Lyris was waiting. She stood tall on the crystalline dais, her posture regal as ever. But this time, there was an air of vulnerability around her, subtle yet unmistakable. "Captain Thorn," she said, her voice calm but edged with concern. "You have recovered faster than expected." Arik bowed slightly. "I am well enough to serve, Your Majesty. I must understand why the attack happened. Your life was in danger." Lyris's silver eyes softened. "That is why I summoned you. There is a faction within my court that seeks to overthrow me. They believe the humans are a threat and they will stop at nothing to ensure their plans succeed." Arik felt a chill. Then it was an inside job. "The attackers today, they were not random." "Correct," she replied. "I am grateful for your intervention, Captain. You saved my life. But there are rules, ancient and binding. You must understand them fully. Humans may never touch the Queen." Arik hesitated, trying to mask his frustration. "I know, Your Majesty. But I am human. My instincts are to act, to protect, and to help. It is difficult to ignore that when someone's life is at stake." Lyris studied him quietly. "I sense your struggle. That is why I have decided to share something with you. Something forbidden. Not touch, but knowledge." Arik's curiosity piqued. "Knowledge?" "Yes," Lyris said, gesturing toward a holographic projection that appeared between them. The image shifted, showing Zephyrian history in vivid detail. Wars, alliances, and great leaders who had shaped the galaxy. "Humans are new to the stars, yet you are capable of great courage. I have seen it in you, but there are truths hidden even from my people. The connection you feel amid is no coincidence." Arik's brow furrowed. "Connection?" Lyris nodded. "When you saved me, something stirred. A bond beyond touch, beyond understanding. It is part of an ancient Zephyrian law that humans must not touch me. Yet it is also part of a larger story. Our peoples are linked in ways neither fully comprehend. You may be the key to preventing the collapse of my rule, and perhaps the survival of the Zephyrian race." Arik swallowed. This was more than he had imagined. Humans often prided themselves on ingenuity and adaptability, but he had never dreamed their influence could extend so deeply into alien society. "I will do whatever it takes," he said firmly. "Even if it means walking a path I do not fully understand." Lyris's lips curved slightly. "I believe you. But trust must be earned, Captain. And you must be cautious. Those who oppose me are not easily seen." For the next few days, Arik was immersed in the palace's inner workings. He observed alien guards, courtiers, and the technology that powered the city. Humans were naturally adaptable, and he quickly learned to navigate the complex social and political networks of the Zephyrians. During this time, he began to experience strange visions whenever he approached Lyris. At first they were fleeting, flashes of alien landscapes, battles, and starships. Then they grew stronger, almost as if the Queen's thoughts or memories were brushing against his mind. Arik began to realize that their connection was not merely symbolic. There was a deep, mysterious link between them. One evening, Mara found him standing on a balcony, staring out at the city. His eyes were distant, lost in the visions. "Captain?" she asked softly. He turned to her, shaking his head. "I don't understand it. When I am near the Queen, I see things. Visions of her past, of battles, of secrets her people have kept hidden for centuries. It's like her memories are reaching into mine." Mara frowned. "Is it dangerous?" "I don't know," Arik admitted. "But it's real. And I think it has something to do with why the attackers came for her today. There's more at stake than we realize." The next day, a Zephyrian noble approached Arik in a secluded corridor. He was tall, with pale skin and sharp features, wearing robes that marked his high rank. "Captain Thorn," the noble said quietly, "you must be careful. The palace is not as safe as you believe. Some seek to manipulate the Queen, and some seek to destroy her entirely. You are unusual among humans. That is why you survived the attack. But survival is only the beginning." Arik listened intently. "Who are they? And what do they want?" The noble hesitated. "Power, influence, control of the Zephyrian race. There are factions that see humans as threats and others who see you as potential allies. You must choose carefully whom to trust." That night, Arik returned to his chamber troubled. Humans often relied on instinct, courage, and resourcefulness. But here, in a world governed by laws and customs alien to him, every action carried weighty consequences. He realized that protecting Lyris would require more than bravery. It would require understanding, patience, and perhaps even the sacrifice of instinct. He thought of the Queen, untouchable yet connected to him in ways he could not fully explain. Her whispered words, "You are forbidden to touch me, human," echoed in his mind. They were a reminder of the boundaries he must respect, yet they also hinted at a deeper truth, one that human intuition might eventually uncover. Arik knew one thing for certain. He could not stand aside. Whatever danger lurked in the shadows of the palace, he would face it head-on. Humans had always adapted, overcome, and thrived even in the harshest environments. Here on Xylaris, they would do the same. As he drifted into a restless sleep, Arik felt a strange sense of purpose. The bond between him and the Queen was forbidden, yet undeniable. The conspirators within the palace moved unseen, plotting and waiting. And humanity's first steps among the stars were about to be tested in ways no one could predict. Tomorrow, he would begin uncovering the truth. He would navigate the treacherous politics, protect the Queen, and perhaps discover the reason behind their mysterious connection. The path ahead was dangerous, filled with uncertainty, but Arik Thorn was human, clever, determined, and unyielding. And in the vast, sparkling city of Xylaris, a new chapter of human courage and ingenuity was just beginning. The corridors of the Zephyrian palace were quiet that morning, but Arik Thorn knew better than to trust silence. He had learned in his years of military service that calm often preceded danger. The attack during the peace ceremony had made that painfully clear. Yet today, as he walked beside Lyris through the halls lined with shifting murals, he felt a tension beyond ordinary caution. The palace was alive with secrets, and some of them were dangerous. Lyris led him to a private chamber, a room he had not entered before. Its walls were crystalline, reflecting soft light in every direction. A large circular table floated in the center, displaying holographic images of the Zephyrian capital and surrounding territories. Symbols moved across the display, marking key locations and strategic points. "Captain," Lyris said, her voice steady but low, "you must understand something crucial. The conspiracy that tried to kill me is far larger than a single faction or noble. There are elements within my court who wish to see my reign fail. They fear change and perceive humanity as a threat to their influence. You are involved now, whether you like it or not." Arik studied the holographic map. "If they are so hidden, how can we find them?" We watch, we observe, and we act carefully, she replied. I have begun trusting you, Captain, but that trust must be guarded. We cannot reveal our plans to anyone except those we know are loyal. Arik nodded. Humans were trained to adapt, to observe, and to respond. It was time to apply those skills on alien ground. Then we need to identify the players, their motives, and their movements. I can help. We've faced worse in human intelligence operations. Lyris tilted her head as if considering him. Very well. But understand this, you may witness things that challenge your instincts, Captain. You may be forced to act in ways that contradict your training. Trust your judgment, but also remember the boundaries. For the next several days, Arik immersed himself in Zephyrian life. He studied the guards, observed the nobles, and quietly learned the routines of the palace. Humans had an advantage. Their unfamiliarity with alien customs made them unpredictable. He moved with purpose, gathering information without revealing his intentions. During this time, he began experiencing the visions more frequently. They were no longer fleeting flashes. They were vivid, almost as if he were walking through the memories of another being. He saw battles fought centuries ago, starships navigating treacherous fields of cosmic energy, and Zephyrians making choices that shaped the galaxy. Occasionally, he caught glimpses of the Queen herself, standing amid chaos, wielding a power he could barely comprehend. One evening, Arik was reviewing his notes in a quiet chamber when a soft presence made him look up. Lyris stood at the doorway, her silver eyes observing him. You are restless, she said softly. I need to understand, Arik replied. The visions. They are connected to you, aren't they? Lyris stepped closer but stopped short, respecting the sacred boundary. Yes, they are part of the bond, though you must not touch me. Humans and Zephyrians share more history than most realize. You are part of something much larger, Captain, something that may decide the fate of my people. Arik's mind raced. Then the conspiracy. It's not just about politics. It's about control over your entire race, she nodded. Correct. The faction that attacked you seeks more than power. They seek to change the destiny of the Zephyrians, and they will not hesitate to eliminate anyone who stands in their way, human or alien. That night, Arik remained awake, thinking. Humans had faced conspiracies, rebellions, and betrayals before, but this was different. The Zephyrians were not only powerful, but their society was deeply interconnected. Every action had consequences he could not yet predict. Yet he knew one thing. Humans survived by thinking, adapting, and acting boldly. And if he had learned anything from his own kind, it was that courage often came with intelligence, not brute force. The following day, Arik and Lyris visited a secure chamber deep within the palace. There he met loyal Zephyrian officials who had sworn to protect the Queen. Together they examined intelligence reports, security footage, and intercepted messages. Patterns began to emerge. Hints of meetings in hidden corridors, secret communications with alien factions outside the capital, and unusual weapon shipments. This is worse than I imagined, Arik murmured. They've infiltrated every level of the palace. If we act without caution, it could backfire. Lyris nodded. That is why your human perspective is invaluable. You see possibilities my people overlook. You will help me make choices no Zephyrian alone could make. As they worked, Arik began to notice subtle changes in the Queen. Despite the danger, she demonstrated trust in him in small ways, sharing insights, including him in discussions that other Zephyrians would never witness. Yet the forbidden boundary remained. He could sense the unspoken tension every time they were near. Humans were driven by instinct to connect, to touch, to communicate physically. But here, restraint was not just a rule. It was a matter of survival and respect. One afternoon, as Arik was reviewing a map of the city, he experienced another vision. This one was different. He saw himself running through the palace, dodging energy blasts, guiding Lyris to safety. He could feel the Queen's presence beside him, her thoughts mingling with his. The vision ended abruptly, leaving him breathless. Are you all right, Captain? Lyris's voice startled him. She had appeared silently as though she had sensed the disturbance. I saw something, he said, struggling to find the right words. A vision. Of danger, of fighting. And you were there. I felt your thoughts. Lyris's eyes softened, though her expression remained composed. You are beginning to understand the bond. It is not just memory. It is a connection that allows you to perceive danger, to anticipate events, to act before threats fully emerge. It is rare and it is fragile. Use it wisely. Arik nodded, a mixture of awe and apprehension coursing through him. Humans had always relied on intuition and quick thinking, but this connection added a dimension he had never imagined. He was no longer just a captain. He was a participant in something far larger, a web of destiny that spanned species, generations, and galaxies. That evening, the palace erupted in chaos. Alarms blared, and the corridors filled with the sound of rapid movement. A group of disguised conspirators had attempted a covert attack on the Queen's private quarters. Arik moved without hesitation, his military training kicking in. He and a small team of loyal Zephyrians navigated the twisting hallways, intercepting the intruders before they could reach Lyris. The battle was tense but controlled. Humans had not fought Zephyrians before, and yet Arik's strategic mind gave them an edge. Using the palace's own layout to his advantage, he guided the defenders, outmaneuvering the attackers. Lyris contributed from a distance, projecting energy shields to protect critical points. Together, human ingenuity and Zephyrian power formed a formidable combination. When the last intruder fell, Arik and Lyris found themselves alone in a quiet chamber. The danger had passed, but the tension lingered. "You acted well," Lyris said quietly, her voice carrying both relief and admiration. "Your human instincts, your courage, made the difference." Arik exhaled, feeling the weight of the day. "We survived this time, but the conspiracy runs deeper. There are others out there watching, waiting." Lyris's gaze held his. "And yet, Captain, you are the first human who has earned my trust. The trust is a bond, though it remains forbidden in the ways that matter most. You must remember this even when the future grows uncertain." Arik understood. The Queen's words were more than law. They were a reminder of restraint, respect, and purpose. Yet in that moment he felt something stronger, a silent understanding that humanity and Zephyrians could achieve together what neither could alone. As night fell over the crystalline city, Arik stood on a balcony overlooking the capital. The stars stretched endlessly above, a tapestry of light and possibility. Somewhere in the darkness the conspirators plotted, yet somewhere also, allies moved silently, loyal to the Queen and to the vision of a united future. Arik placed a hand on the balcony rail, feeling the energy of the city beneath him. Humans had always thrived in adversity, and he knew they would thrive here as well, not through conquest but through courage, intelligence, and the unyielding determination to protect those who could not protect themselves. He closed his eyes briefly and felt the bond once more, faint but undeniable. Lyris's presence lingered, a reminder of the responsibilities he now bore. He would navigate the conspiracy, uncover the traitors, and ensure the Queen survived. Humanity's role in this story was just beginning, and he would make certain it was a story of resilience, ingenuity, and honor. For Captain Arik Thorn, the Palace of Xylaris had become a new battlefield, one not of brute strength but of mind, heart, and courage. The hidden conspiracy was real, and the stakes were higher than ever. Yet as he prepared for the days ahead, he felt something he had not expected. Hope, not only for himself or for the humans, but for the possibility that two species, so different yet so capable, could rise together against the shadows. And in the quiet of the night, Arik understood that his journey had only just begun. The Zephyrian palace pulsed with a strange tension. Captain Arik Thorn moved through the corridors with measured steps, his mind racing with strategies and contingencies. The recent attacks had revealed that the conspiracy against Queen Lyris was deeper and more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Each hallway, each chamber, each shadow could hide a threat, yet Arik felt no fear. Fear slowed humans. Courage, strategy, and quick thinking saved them. Lyris appeared beside him silently, her presence commanding attention even without a word. She wore ceremonial robes for the council meeting, but her eyes betrayed concern. "Captain," she said softly, "we must act quickly. The traitors are preparing another strike. If we do not act first, the palace itself may fall." Arik nodded. "We cannot fight blindly. We need intelligence, coordination, and trust. Humans and loyal Zephyrians together can outsmart them." Lyris inclined her head. "Then we shall." The council chamber was vast, circular, and lined with floating panels displaying strategic data. Loyal nobles and palace guards gathered, their expressions tense. Arik and Lyris took the center positions, signaling the start of a critical discussion. "The conspirators are well organized," Arik began, They have access to the palace's energy systems, transportation routes, and even communications. We cannot underestimate them. But they are predictable. Human strategy relies on understanding patterns. We watch, we anticipate, and we act at the right moment. One of the Zephyrian officials, a tall figure with silver hair, spoke cautiously. Human methods are untested in our culture. They may fail. Arik smiled faintly. Perhaps. But humans adapt. We improvise, and we survive. That's why you're alive today, and why the Queen remains unharmed. Trust me, we can do this. Lyris's eyes softened as she looked at him. Your confidence is reassuring, Captain. Very well. We proceed with your plan, but with caution. No mistake can be made. Over the next several days, Arik coordinated a series of strategic defenses throughout the palace. He paired human guards with loyal Zephyrians, combining their unique skills to create unexpected advantages. Humans were flexible and inventive, capable of improvising on the spot. Zephyrians were precise and disciplined, their technology far beyond anything humans had seen. Together, they became a formidable force. Arik also trained with Lyris not in combat but in understanding her abilities. She projected energy barriers, manipulated subtle fields of power, and communicated telepathically with trusted allies. Each session revealed more about her race and their potential, but also deepened the mysterious connection between them. Whenever she was near, he experienced flashes of her memories, moments of triumph, fear, and sorrow. Each vision left him more determined to protect her. Late one evening, as Arik patrolled the upper corridors, he noticed movement in the shadows. Several figures in dark armor were sneaking toward the Queen's private chambers. He signaled quietly to the Zephyrian guards nearby. Captain, we cannot confront them directly, whispered one. They may have energy weapons capable of breaching our defenses. Arik nodded. Then we outthink them. Follow my lead. Using the palace's network of secret passageways, Arik and the guards positioned themselves strategically. As the intruders approached, Arik's mind raced. Humans had always used deception and ingenuity to turn the tide of battles, even against technologically superior foes. He had seen it in countless campaigns. And now the same principles applied, but on an alien world. When the conspirators entered the corridor, Arik triggered a series of subtle alarms and lights, creating confusion. The intruders faltered, unsure of their surroundings. In the chaos, human and loyal Zephyrian guards sprang into action, cornering the attackers. Within moments, the threat was neutralized. Arik stood amid the aftermath, catching his breath. They were clever, he said, surveying the subdued intruders. But not clever enough. Lyris arrived, her silver eyes observing the scene. You have done well, Captain, she said softly. Your tactics and judgment have saved lives today. My people may begin to understand the value of humans beyond mere technology. Arik smiled faintly. Humans have always adapted, Your Majesty. We do what we must to survive, and to protect those who cannot do so themselves. The Queen's expression softened further. And yet, Captain, you must remember the law. The bond between us is significant, but the boundaries remain. You cannot touch me no matter what happens. That is the law of my people, and it must be honored. Arik nodded. I understand. Trust is more important than instinct. And I trust you, Your Majesty, to guide us through this crisis. The next challenge came swiftly. Intelligence reports indicated that the rival faction had allied with an outside force, a neighboring alien race seeking to expand influence over Xylaris. Arik realized that the palace alone could not withstand a full-scale attack. They needed allies, resources, and a strategy that combined human ingenuity with Zephyrian power. Lyris summoned Arik to her private chamber. Captain, we must strike preemptively. The rival queen intends to destabilize my reign and seize control of the city. If we act too late, our people may fall and the human delegation will be caught in the crossfire. Arik studied the holographic map she displayed. We need to coordinate our forces carefully. Humans can handle the strategic maneuvers outside the palace, while loyal Zephyrians fortify key positions. We divide their attention, stretch their resources, and then strike at the heart of the conspiracy. Lyris's gaze held his. And you will lead the human forces? Arik nodded. Yes, together we can turn this tide. Humans survive against overwhelming odds, and we never give up. Neither will your people, not if they understand that we fight as one. The battle that followed was swift, intense, and decisive. Human troops, guided by Arik's strategies, intercepted supply lines, sabotaged energy conduits, and outmaneuvered enemy patrols. Loyal Zephyrians struck at critical points, protecting the Queen and preventing the conspirators from regrouping. At the height of the conflict, Auric and Lyris found themselves side by side on a high balcony, coordinating defenses. Energy shields shimmered around them, and the sounds of battle echoed below. For a moment, the forbidden rule felt like a weight between them, yet in their silence, a silent understanding passed. Trust, respect, and a bond deeper than words. "Captain," Lyris said softly, "you have proven the value of humans beyond anything I imagined. You have fought bravely, thought wisely, and protected me when others could not." Auric's eyes met hers. "Your Majesty, I fight for more than survival. I fight for trust, for loyalty, and for the future of both our peoples. Humans may be new to the stars, but we have courage, ingenuity, and honor. That is our strength." The final confrontation came when the rival queen attempted a direct assault on the palace's central chamber. Auric led a small team of elite human and Zephyrian forces, intercepting her before she could reach Lyris. The duel was tense, a test of skill, strategy, and resolve. Energy blasts lit the corridors, and carefully timed maneuvers allowed Auric's team to corner the rival queen without harm to the palace or innocents. When the battle ended, the rival queen was captured, and the conspirators were neutralized. The palace had survived thanks to human leadership, Zephyrian power, and their combined ingenuity. Auric stood among the victorious defenders, exhausted but unbroken. Lyris appeared beside him, her expression one of relief and admiration. "Captain, you have done what many thought impossible. The palace stands, my people are safe, and the traitors are gone. You have earned a place in the history of Zelaris." Auric smiled faintly. "We did it together, Your Majesty. Humans and Zephyrians, stronger united than apart. That is the lesson of today." The Queen's eyes softened, but the sacred boundary remained. "And yet, Captain, remember, you may never touch me. Our bond is real, but the law remains. Respect it as you have respected everything else during this crisis." Auric nodded. "I understand. Trust, loyalty, and honor are stronger than touch, Your Majesty. That I will always remember." As the city of Xylara settled into a quiet night, Auric stood on the balcony, looking out over the crystalline towers. The stars stretched endlessly above, a reminder of the vast galaxy beyond. Somewhere out there, humans and Zephyrians would continue to face challenges. But tonight they had won, together. And for Auric Thorn, the captain who had journeyed across the stars, the victory was more than survival. It was proof that humanity, with courage, intelligence, and heart, could make a difference, even on a world far from Earth. The bond between him and Lyris remained forbidden, yet undeniable. And as he looked at her from across the balcony, he knew that their alliance, built on trust, strategy, and respect, would shape the future of two races for generations to come. The palace of Xylaris was quiet at dawn, but the calm was fragile. Captain Auric Thorn stood on a balcony, looking over the city that shimmered like liquid crystal in the morning sun. The battles of the past days had left marks, but they had survived. Humans and Zephyrians had faced impossible odds together, and now the final challenge awaited. Queen Lyris joined him silently. Her presence was commanding, yet there was a softness in her eyes that no one else saw. "Captain," she said, her voice steady, "the rival forces have regrouped. Their leader will not stop until she sees my reign ended. We must act carefully. The fate of Xylaris depends on this day." Auric nodded. Humans thrived under pressure, and he had learned to act decisively even when danger loomed. "We will end this, Your Majesty. Together we've prepared. We know their plans and we know their weaknesses. Courage, strategy, and timing, that is how humans survive. And today it will be how we triumph." Lyris studied him. "Your confidence is admirable, Captain. Very well. Let us move forward." The final confrontation began as the rival Queen's fleet approached the palace perimeter. She had gathered allies from neighboring systems, confident that her power would overwhelm Lyris and her loyalists. Yet she had underestimated the strength of an alliance forged in trust and courage. Auric directed the human forces with precision. Using a combination of Zephyrian technology and human ingenuity, they created traps, decoys, and strategic diversions that confused the enemy. Zephyrian energy shields reinforced key points, while humans used adaptive tactics to counter unexpected maneuvers. Every move demonstrated the strength of two species working together. Humans had survived countless wars on Earth, relying on innovation, adaptability, and determination. On Zalaris, these same traits proved invaluable. The humans and loyal Zephyrians were no longer merely defenders. They were a force capable of turning the tide of the battle. Inside the palace, Auric and Lyris prepared for the inevitable face-to-face confrontation. The rival queen had infiltrated with elite warriors, determined to reach Lyris herself. Auric's mind raced. Every instinct, every training exercise, every experience of leadership pointed to one truth. The key to victory would be strategy and courage, not raw strength. The corridors echoed with the sound of approaching footsteps. Auric positioned the loyal guards, creating choke points and defensive layers. Then the rival queen appeared, flanked by her most trusted warriors. Her eyes glowed with ambition and her presence radiated power. "Captain Thorn," she said coldly, "you think you can stop me? You are only human. You are weak," Auric met her gaze. "Weak, perhaps. But humans survive where others fail. We adapt, we endure, and we never give up. And today your plans end," the clash began. Energy shields sparked and shimmered as the rival warriors attacked. Auric and his team moved with precision, anticipating every move. He coordinated with Lyris, whose telepathic guidance and defensive powers protected the defenders and created opportunities for counterattacks. At one critical moment, the rival queen broke through a barrier, charging directly toward Lyris. Time seemed to slow. Auric's instincts kicked in. Using a combination of speed, clever maneuvering, and the environment of the palace, he intercepted her path without violating the sacred rule. The rival queen was caught off balance and forced to retreat. Lyris took advantage of the moment, projecting a powerful energy field that immobilized the remaining attackers. Within moments, the battle was over. The rival queen and her conspirators were captured, their forces disbanded, and the palace secured. Auric stood, breathing heavily but unbroken. Around him, loyal Zephyrians regrouped, ensuring the safety of the palace and civilians. The city below, which had watched the battle from a distance, now celebrated the triumph of courage and collaboration. Lyris approached him. Her eyes, silver and reflective, held gratitude and something deeper, a silent acknowledgement of the bond they shared. "Captain Thorn," she said softly, "you have proven the value of humans beyond what I imagined. Your courage, intelligence, and determination have saved my people and my reign. You have earned our trust forever." Auric bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, it was not me alone. Humans and Zephyrians together achieved this. That is the lesson here. Unity, trust, and bravery triumph over any conspiracy." The Queen's expression softened further, though the sacred law remained. "And yet, Captain, remember this, you may never touch me. Our bond is significant, but it must remain within the bounds of our laws. Respect it, as you have respected everything else during this crisis." Auric nodded, understanding the weight of her words. He had learned that true strength was not only in action but in restraint, respect, and honor. The forbidden boundary had not diminished their connection. It had strengthened it in ways that words could not capture. In the days that followed, the palace and city began to heal. Loyal Zephyrians celebrated their queen's victory. Humans were acknowledged as allies, and the conspirators were held accountable. Auric moved through the halls, observing the results of their teamwork. Humans had brought ingenuity, courage, and decisive action to a place where alien power alone was not enough. One evening, he found himself alone on a balcony overlooking the crystalline towers. The stars above seemed endless, stretching across the galaxy. Somewhere out there, humanity's place in the universe was growing, not through domination, but through courage, understanding, and cooperation. Lyris appeared beside him silently. For a moment, they simply observed the city. The victory had been won, but the bond between them remained, forbidden in law, undeniable in reality. "You have changed the story of Xylaris, Captain," Lyris said softly. "Humans are more than I imagined. Your species carries strength, ingenuity, and resilience that can shape the galaxy." Auric looked at her, eyes steady. "Your Majesty, humans survive by adapting, by thinking, and by protecting what is right. Today we did that together. Tomorrow we will do it again if necessary, and humanity will always be ready to face the unknown." Lyris inclined her head. "Then perhaps the future holds more than we thought. Your people and mine may achieve great things together, but always remember, the law remains. Trust, loyalty, and courage are more important than touch. Honor them, and we will continue to prosper." Auric smiled faintly. I understand. I will honor it and everything else you have taught me. Humans fight with heart, mind, and respect. That is how we survive. And that is how we thrive. As the city lights shimmered below, a silent promise passed between them, not of touch, but of understanding, alliance, and shared destiny. The trials had tested them, and the bond between human and alien had endured. Humanity's first steps among the stars had been proven not only courageous but invaluable. Captain Eric Thorne looked out at the horizon, the twin suns of Xylaris rising slowly. Somewhere in the galaxy, other challenges awaited humans and Zephyrians alike, but today they had triumphed through intelligence, courage, and unity. The conspiracies had been defeated, the Queen was safe, and the alliance between their species had been forged stronger than any enemy could break. In that quiet dawn, Arik understood the truth of humanity's role in the universe, not through conquest, but through wisdom, bravery, and honor. They could protect, build, and inspire, and in a galaxy filled with unknowns, those qualities were more powerful than any weapon. The bond between him and Lyris remained sacred and untouchable, yet it was stronger than ever in trust, in shared purpose, and in understanding. And as he watched her return to the palace, he knew that their alliance, human and Zephyrian, would shape the future of Xylaris for generations to come. For Captain Arik Thorne, the story had reached a triumphant chapter, but the journey of humans among the stars was only beginning. Courage, ingenuity, and resilience would guide them forward, leaving a legacy of hope, unity, and the undeniable proof that humanity could shine, even among the most powerful and enigmatic beings in the galaxy. Captain Alex Rivera had faced many dangers in his life, but nothing had prepared him for the silent, glowing world of SCIFI-Prime. The planet had no proper name on any human star map, only a set of coordinates that glowed red on the navigation console. Most explorers avoided it, but Alex was drawn by the strange energy readings, pulses that seemed almost alive. The ship's engines hummed as the Star Voyager descended through the thick purple clouds. Outside, jagged crystalline spires rose from the ground like frozen lightning bolts. The sky shimmered in hues Alex had no names for, shifting from soft blues to violent oranges in seconds. He adjusted his helmet and activated his scanner. Energy levels are off the charts, Alex muttered to himself. His voice echoed in the cabin, loud and slightly nervous. Whatever is here, it's intelligent. I can feel it. The landing was rough, the uneven terrain forcing Alex to use every ounce of his piloting skill. The Star Voyager's landing legs shook violently as they dug into the spiked crystal soil. Once stable, Alex took a deep breath. He was alone. At least he thought he was. He stepped onto the surface, the ground crunching beneath his boots. The air was breathable, surprisingly warm, and carried a faint metallic scent. Every step made the crystals hum, a soft vibration that ran up his legs. He lifted his scanner, sweeping the area. Energy readings soared with every step deeper into the spire field. Then it happened. Are you alone, human? Alex froze. His eyes darted around, searching for a source. There was no one. No movement, no sound, no shadow. Only the humming crystals beneath his boots. Who's there? He called, his voice steadier than he felt. The words seemed to vanish into the glowing landscape. The voice returned, calm, almost regal. I ask again. Are you alone, human? Alex blinked. He knew voices didn't usually come from thin air. His rational mind raced. Could this be an alien communication he couldn't see? Some kind of psychic signal? Okay, he muttered under his breath. If this is some alien prank, it's a good one. Then from the shimmering haze ahead a figure emerged. Alex squinted, shielding his eyes. At first he thought it was a trick of light. Then he saw her. Tall, almost 3 meters in height, with skin that glowed like liquid silver. Her eyes were deep and dark, yet held a curious, intelligent light. Her movements were slow and deliberate, each step making the ground beneath her glow softly. Alex's jaw went slack. He had expected aliens before. He had even trained for first contact. But this was beyond anything he had imagined. The figure stopped a few meters away, folding her arms elegantly. You are human, she stated, her voice echoing in his mind more than through the air. Alone, yet not frightened, Alex swallowed. You can hear me? He asked, though the words sounded weak in comparison to her presence. Yes, she replied. I have observed your kind for long centuries. Rarely does one step onto my world without fear. Alex's heart pounded. His training urged caution, but his curiosity pushed him forward. Observed? For centuries, you mean? You've been watching humans for hundreds of years. The alien queen's lips curved, though it was not a smile. Time flows differently here. We see patterns, not moments. Your species is remarkable. Alex struggled to process her words. He had read stories of ancient civilizations, aliens, and interstellar diplomacy. But nothing prepared him for this, a being so advanced and intelligent, yet aware of humans in such detail. I don't understand, Alex admitted. Why me? Why now? The queen took another step forward. Her presence seemed to radiate a subtle warmth, calming despite the tension in the air. Because you are alone. Because your choices are unbound by the influence of your kind. I wish to see what a human will do when faced with the unknown. Alex felt the weight of her words. Every instinct in him screamed caution. His mind raced. Could he trust her? Could he even survive this encounter? I'm not sure I can... He started, but the queen held up a slender hand, stopping him. Fear is natural, she said, her voice gentle but powerful. It is not weakness. It is your response that matters. Show me. Show yourself to me. The crystals around them pulsed in rhythm with her words. Alex felt a strange vibration in his chest, almost like the planet itself was alive, listening. He clenched his fists and took a deep breath. He had faced rogue asteroid fields, hostile alien drones, and collapsing space stations. Surely he could face one being even if she was not entirely of this world. All right, he said, lifting his head. I'm Alex Rivera, captain of the Star Voyager, and yes, I'm alone, but I think I want to understand. The alien queen tilted her head, studying him. Your courage has been notable. Humans often rely on force or flight. You choose openness. Interesting. Alex noticed now that her form seemed to shimmer and shift slightly, like the light around her could bend reality itself. His mind tried to reason it away as an optical illusion, but something in his gut told him this was no trick. Openness? He asked cautiously. You mean, talking to you, I guess? Openness, she said. To learn, to act, to think, to feel. You may not realize it yet, human, but you carry a potential rare in the cosmos. A potential that must be tested. Alex's heartbeat quickened. Tested? How? She stepped closer, and he could feel a faint warmth radiating from her, though her appearance was alien, almost inhuman. You will face challenges. Challenges that measure your ingenuity, morality, and spirit. Few of your kind have been offered this. Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. This was beyond exploration. It was a trial of humanity itself. Okay, he said cautiously. I'm ready, I think. What do I need to do? The queen raised her arms, and the crystals around them shifted and formed a glowing path that led deeper into the alien landscape. It was as if the planet itself was creating a trail for him. You will follow, she said. Each step will show your true nature. Each choice will reveal your strengths and weaknesses. Follow wisely, human. Alex glanced back at his ship, just visible through the mist. He felt the pull of safety, the life he knew. But something inside him urged him forward. He had always been curious, always been brave, sometimes too brave. He took his first step onto the glowing path. The crystals under his boots hummed with energy, vibrating in rhythm with his heartbeat. The queen followed silently, her eyes never leaving him. As he walked, Alex noticed strange creatures in the shadows, transparent beings like living light, observing silently. They made no sound, but he felt their awareness as if the eyes of the galaxy were upon him. This is incredible, Alex whispered, more to himself than anyone else. I'm really here, walking in front of an alien queen. The queen's voice echoed in his mind again, softer this time. You may speak freely, human. Words are less important than intent. Alex nodded, though she could not see it. He realized that the planet, the queen, and everything around him was a test of perception, courage, and morality. He could not simply rely on his training. He had to think, feel, and act, truly act like a human. Hours, or was it minutes, passed as he followed the glowing path. The air grew warmer, almost suffocating, yet he pressed on. The landscape shifted, moving in ways that should have been impossible. Crystals rose and fell, valleys formed and disappeared. Alex felt dizzy, disoriented, but he held his focus. Finally, they reached a vast open chamber filled with swirling lights and floating platforms. The energy here was so strong it made his skin tingle. The Queen stopped and faced him fully. "This is your first true challenge, human.
Step forward.
And show me what makes your kind remarkable." Alex's chest tightened. He glanced at the glowing platforms, unsure of what awaited him. But he knew one thing: turning back was not an option. His species had survived countless threats across the cosmos. If humans could endure anything, it was this moment of uncertainty. Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped onto the first floating platform. It felt solid, yet it vibrated with a strange energy. Below him, the abyss stretched endlessly, a void that seemed to watch him as much as he watched it. The Queen's voice echoed in his mind one last time before he moved forward. "Do not fear, human. Fear is natural. But your courage, your choices, that is what will define you." As he leaped to the next platform, Alex felt a thrill unlike any other. This was the beginning of something greater than exploration, greater than discovery. This was a trial of humanity itself. And somewhere deep in the glowing depths of SciFi-Prime, the alien queen watched, curious, silent, and unyielding.